Welcome, and thank you for your interest in learning more about how amino acid supplements are made. I'm Kathy Connard, a tech rep for Turf Trade. Many of you may remember me from my water management consulting days. And yes, I still have that sick obsession with water management because you know whether you're a golf course superintendent, a sports turf manager, or a landscaper, water is critical to everything that you do. Well, today we're going to steer a little bit away from the water management side, although I might throw a few things in there here and then. But we want to really get into how to get the most out of the amino acid supplements that you're buying. Amino acids are critical and influence many of the plant's physiological processes. Maybe this is why amino acid supplements and combination products with amino acids have become so popular. So how are these amino acid supplements produced? How are they formulated? Well, you have to start with a carbon source. Many of the commercially available products that are out there start with a protein hydrolysate or a soy protein hydrolysate. The protein hydrolysate produces peptides and proteins. The peptides and proteins are very big, complex structures. With the soy protein hydrolysate, they use soybeans as the carbon source. So they're relying on the soybean crop from harvest to harvest. There's a small handful of other companies out there that formulate their amino acid supplements and their combination products in a bit of a different way. You will see here that yes, I still start with the carbon source, although it's a different carbon source. I chose a glucose. In particular, this is a corn syrup glucose. There are other carbon sources that are just as effective that you could use. The next step is to put that carbon source through fermentation. Why do we do that? Well, basically, by putting it through the fermentation process, we can now convert it into another molecule. This is done by feeding the particular carbon source to microorganisms that then will use it to create energy. That energy is used to convert that initial carbon to another molecule. By adding certain bacterium, a third step, now you can create many different L-amino acids that mimic the amino acids produced naturally by plants. Now this sounds like it's a simple, formulation. Why would everybody do this to make an amino acid structure that's more easily taken in by the plant, used, and be able to specify specific amino acids? Please know this is just a simplified explanation of what's going on. It is a lot more complicated because if it wasn't, then everybody would be doing it. There's a reactive process that goes in. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes, but I wanted to be able to outline to you how you can take a traditional way of doing something and add certain things, certain reactive processes, but get huge benefits on the other side. So how do the differences in the formulation processes affect how the different amino acids help in the plant? Well, with a protein hydrolysate, you're pretty much stuck with a random amount of 18 different amino acids. The reason is there is no physical possible way to separate out specific amino acids when you're using this carbon source. So what happens is there's only so much room in the jug. So if you're putting all 18 amino acids in the jug, their percentage is going to be so low, how much is the turf really going to get from them? Because remember, the reason we're adding an amino acid supplement is so that it can help the turf do what it does naturally and give it a little boost in helping it to fight against stressors or increase antioxidants or improve overall plant health. So by having such a low percentage of all of these amino acids, you're really not getting a whole lot out of them. The other problem with the peptides and the protein structures in the protein hydrolysate is, as we said, they are very big structures. So it's very difficult for those structures to get into the turf and also move up and down throughout the turf. The amino acids get tied up in these large structures. Now, on the other hand, If we take an amino acid and we go through the fermentation process, we take a different carbon source, we go through the fermentation process, we add a specific bacterium, depending on what amino acid you want to create, you have a whole new bunch of benefits that you get from doing this. You can control the percentage of amino acid in each product. So, depending on what that product does, whatever amino acid you're pairing with a product, you can pair that amino acid so that it complements that nutrient. You also have a smaller molecule, so now it can get into the plant and move up and down throughout the plant. And as long as you understand, you have a chemist that understands what each individual amino acid's role is in the plant, and they understand what the plant does when it's under certain stressors, because when a plant is going through certain stressors, it will produce certain amino acids. So by having that information, you now can control what amino acid you choose to add to your products. You can control what percentage of that amino acid you want to add to those products. So now you're helping the turf to do what it does naturally. You're not masking the symptoms. You're actually triggering the plant's natural response and giving it what it needs, what it's producing already, so that it can protect itself and survive more efficiently. Imagine the possibilities now that we can separate out specific amino acids, the products and co-products that you can develop using the fermentation process. This is where mad scientist Kathy got a little crazy, and when I was developing my line, my chemist had to reel me in and just remind me that there's only so much room in the jug. So it forced me to really focus on what specific amino acids do and how they complement other products so that we could help the plant do what it does naturally. So I'll share with you a few things that went into that. Of course, I'm going to start with water management because that's what I love. But by adding water management benefits, adding amino acids that help to contribute to better water management, you're able to create combination products that help to balance the pH and the calcium more within the turf cell, especially important for those of you growing with poor water quality or those of you that have salt issues. We can also manage water and everything that water carries, manage how that moves into the turf cell, not only into the cell, but up and down throughout the cell as well. Also very important because now we can also create chemistries that are safe tank mix partners too. Many of you are putting a lot into that tank mix, so we want to make sure that the products we're putting together, that the chemistries are safe for you to mix with other products as well. We can also better manage osmotic pressure so that the turf can better survive during water stressors, not just water deficits, but also too much water or any extreme for that matter, extreme heat or extreme cold. We know that that turf turgor or rigidity is so very important for managing water loss from the plant. We know when you have too much water loss, what's going to happen? It's going to wilt. Again, there are certain amino acids that are going to help to manage those osmotic relations. We can also better manage transpiration, and not just transpiration to help cool the plant down, but also because transpiration is especially important for photosynthetic activity. Now, many of us automatically think about antioxidants and amino acids that increase the antioxidants to help the turf defend itself and protect itself better. But there are many other turf defense mechanisms that the plant goes through. There are amino acids that produce phytoalexins, which is a fungus inhibiting chemical. Imagine adding that amino acid to a phosphite. So now you have the phosphite, you have certain amino acids, and you have an increase in the production of the phytoalexins. Imagine how much control, how much better you can manage pythium. You can also, there are certain amino acids we can add that are going to stimulate auxin production. Auxins are the plant growth hormone necessary for recovery, not just in the summer months, but after your top dressing. So imagine adding an amino acid to a potassium and being able to stimulate those natural auxin productions after you've aerified and top dressed. And of course, amino acids are very good at creating antioxidants to help protect the turf from biotic and abiotic stresses. There are many that do that. Knowing what amino acids do and knowing how much and being able to control how much of each amino acid you put into a product now allows you to make sure you have a high enough percentage of that amino acid to have it actually do something and to stimulate the plant response. Because again, we don't want to mask symptoms. We want to help the plant do what it does naturally. And what it does naturally is create certain amino acids that are very specific depending on what stressor that it is going through. So if you have combination products, you now can reduce the need to buy multiple products. You don't have to put as many products in the tank. And you're already buying certain products. So if you're already using potassium, calcium, iron, look at the new iron, manganese, magnesium products that are so popular. Imagine adding amino acid to that and really stepping up your overall plant health. Silicon is another product that comes to mind. Many of you have shied away from silicon because it's not tank mix friendly. Well, add an amino acid to it, a certain one, that's no longer a problem. And now you can get all of the disease, water management, and overall plant health from that particular product. There's so many things that you can do by adding amino acids, and having the information and being able to change the traditional way of formulating that makes the possibilities endless. Okay, so how do you know what's in the jug of amino acid supplements that you're buying? How do you know how they're being formulated? Talk with a technical rep. Don't be afraid to ask them to speak with someone, a research person at their company. Find out, where's the product being made? Where's it sourced? What are they putting in it? What percentage of specific amino acids are in the product? What's the carbon source that they're using? And be aware, if the company is touting that they have the highest number of plant-needed L-amino acids in their product, 14 of 18, all 18, this should be a red flag to you. Because as we mentioned, there's only so much room in the jug. And if they're putting all of those amino acids in, what percentage is each of those amino acids? And how much is it going to impact the turf's response to those amino acids? And unfortunately for us, the label is not always a good indicator because of the regulatory process. The labels, even though it may say, and I can think of a few companies where the label says soy protein hydrolysate or it says protein hydrolysate, and in fact, this is not the chemical, this is not the carbon source that they are using. The reason that they had to do that was because if they put something else on, they would have to disclose everything that they are doing and putting in the product. And they're not willing to share all of that competitive information. So unfortunately for us, just like with wetting agents, where you'll see a label that says non-ionic surfactant or blend of polyoxyethylenes, or they use these generic terms for the products, the same holds true for amino acids. So unfortunately, you can't always just look at a label and know. You really have to talk with the technical rep or a researcher at the company. Now, mind you, they're not going to give away all their trade secrets, but they should give you enough information so that you can make an educated decision and know what you're buying. And if I can help in any way, please just give me a call. I'm happy to help. I so appreciate your time today. If you have questions or would like me to send you links to other videos, please give me a call or text me at 609-477-0471. You can also shoot me an email at kathyc@theturftrade.com. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully we'll meet again soon.